Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to staying informed. Today, we're really digging into something critical for, well, everyone online. It's the evolving world of browser-based cyber attacks, things we absolutely need to watch out for in 2025. We've gone through a bunch of recent cybersecurity reports, and honestly, the picture they paint is pretty stark. They're suggesting that, as we all move more towards cloud services and web apps, our browsers, they're not just Windows anymore. They've actually become the main way attackers are trying to get in. Can you maybe expand on why this shift feels so big right now?
It really is a fundamental change. And what's striking, I think, is that experts aren't just saying more attacks. No, they're warning about a real escalation in how sophisticated these attacks are becoming. Attackers aren't just trying to grab your password these days. That's almost old news. Now they're aiming for the real prize your live session token. Getting that lets them bypass multi-factor authentication completely. We're seeing techniques where they literally observe your behavior in the browser or even leverage your active session to get straight into enterprise systems. It's an attack on the session itself, not just that initial login moment.
Wow, okay. That's a significant jump. So our mission for this deep dive, for you listening, is to arm you with knowledge. We're going to cover 6 major types of browser attacks these reports flagged, so you can be informed, maybe a bit more prepared. Right, let's unpack this. How are they even getting past that first login hurdle now? The reports really emphasize this scary evolution in phishing. It's gone way beyond just tricking you for credentials. They talk about attacker in the middle, or ATM, kits becoming central. How do those actually work? And why are they slipping past strong security?
Okay, so ATM kits. What's crucial to understand is they don't just fake a login page. They act like a live proxy in real time. They use things like reverse proxies, dynamic infrastructure, basically fancy ways of saying they route your connection through their server while you log in. This lets them intercept everything: your username, password, and yeah, even those one-time MFA codes you enter. So you think you've logged in securely with MFA, while the attacker just grabbed the validated session token right out from under you. And these things scale incredibly fast. They often bypass older email filters too, because technically they're just relaying a legitimate login flow.
Okay, that's deeply concerning.
Yeah.
So if ATM gets them past the login, what happens after you're already logged in? That brings us to a second category: malicious browser-side code execution. The reports mention ClickFix and FileFix. What are those?
Right, so these aren't just dodgy links. ClickFix and FileFix are more about social engineering. They trick you, the user, into copying what looks like a harmless command, maybe to fix an error or solve a captcha TCHA, but they tell you to paste it directly into your browser's developer console, that little window programmers use.
Ah, okay.
And if you paste it and hit enter, you're unknowingly running malware, or basically handing control of your browser session, sometimes even your machine, to the attacker. It's clever, nasty social engineering, and we're seeing it hit both Windows and Mac users pretty hard.
That is incredibly sneaky. And, well, flowing from that, the third area seems related: OAuth application exploits. This feels like abusing trust, right? Like we give permission to something bad.
Exactly. It's all about getting privileges without needing your password again. Attackers craft malicious apps. Then they trick you into granting those apps permissions, using legitimate systems like sign in with Google or sign in with Microsoft. You see a permission request. Maybe it asks for access to your files or email, and if it seems vaguely plausible and you click allow, that malicious app now has ongoing access. It bypasses normal logins, can get into your corporate data, maybe sit there for ages. We've seen this used in real breaches of major SaaS platforms. It creates a kind of hidden backdoor.
Okay, so once they have some kind of foothold, how else do they stick around or spread?
Category 4 points to browser extensions. We all use them, right? For convenience, productivity. But what's the danger? Even extensions from trusted developers can become a risk. It's a huge attack surface. Attackers might compromise a legitimate extension through a tainted update. Or they just distribute their own malicious ones, maybe disguised as something useful. Once a bad extension is installed, it can do a lot. Harvest your active sessions, steal data you type into forms, inject ads or fake login prompts onto pages you visit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it can even redirect your browsing. It turns that helpful little tool into a spy, often using permissions you granted ages ago and forgot about.
That's genuinely unsettling.
Okay.
Fifth category: weaponized file delivery. Sounds like they're finding new ways to sneak malware onto our systems via the browser itself.
Yeah, this is where they use file types you might think are safe. They weaponize them. We're talking malicious HTAs. Those are HTML applications, basically web pages that can run code, or SVGs, image files that can hide scripts, even just cleverly crafted HTML file downloads. These files can deploy phishing pages that look hyper-realistic because they're in the browser, or deliver malware payloads directly. What's really concerning here is how often these techniques can get past traditional antivirus, because they're abusing trusted web formats.
Right, using the browser's own language against it. And
Uh-huh.
finally, the sixth category. Let's not forget the basics, I suppose. Stolen credentials. Especially when multi-factor authentication isn't perfectly set up everywhere.
Yeah.
How's the browser fit in here?
Well, exactly. While stealing the password itself isn't maybe a browser exploit, the browser is definitely where the damage happens. It's where credentials get entered, maybe stolen by malware or that ATM method we talked about, or where they get stored sometimes. And crucially, it's the environment where attackers use those stolen credentials for what we call ghost logins. If they have a valid username and password, maybe from a breach somewhere else, and they find SaaS apps where MFA is weak, missing, or poorly configured, bang, they're in. The browser lets them perform actions that look legitimate, often from totally different locations, and without browser-level security monitoring. It can go completely unnoticed. So when you look at all these things together, ATM phishing, the browser-side code execution, those OAuth exploits, sneaky extensions, weaponized files, it all points to one really clear trend. The browser isn't just your window anymore. It's really become ground zero. It's the main battlefield.
And the practical takeaway from all our sources seems pretty consistent, too. Security folks are really emphasizing this now. Defense has to include specific tools and visibility right at the browser level. Just protecting the endpoint, the device itself, isn't enough anymore. Things like browser isolation technologies, really keeping a close eye on those OAuth app permissions, doing regular audits of browser extensions. These are becoming essential security layers, not just optional extras.
And if you step back and connect this to the bigger picture, well, it's obvious our whole idea of a digital perimeter has fundamentally changed, hasn't it? Which raises, I think, a really important question for all of us. As our browsers get smarter, more powerful, more personalized, how do we strike that balance? How do we balance the incredible convenience they offer against this constant need for vigilance? Vigilance against threats that are often invisible, always evolving. What's our personal responsibility in securing that critical interface?